Welcome to our flipped classroom where math knowledge makes things easier. Our learning objective today is that I will be able to solve rate problems where the rates are presented as fractions using double number line models and the big one. The national standards that we're going to be focusing on, the Common Core standards, specifically the 7th grade standards related to rates and proportional reasoning, 7 RPA 1 and 7 RPA 3. Take a moment to start this Do Now assignment. First, define multiplicative inverse, and then solve for the missing numbers in number 2. Multiplicative inverse is the same thing as reciprocal. One of a pair of numbers whose product is 1. When you multiply a number by its reciprocal, the product is going to be 1. The following problems involve changing a fractional rate to a unit rate. To do that, you have to use multiplicative inverse. In this problem, a cheetah can run 6 miles in a quarter of an hour. What's his unit rate? Meaning, how fast can he run in 1 hour? Let's use a double number line for this problem. He can run 0 miles in 0 hours. He could run 6 miles in a quarter of an hour. That much we know. If 1 unit of time, 1 quarter of an hour, he could run 6 miles, then let's break up the hour because we're looking for a unit rate per hour. Let's break it up into units of a quarter of an hour. 2 quarters of an hour is a half an hour, 3 quarters of an hour, and then 4 quarters, 4 over 4, is really 1 hour. So if in 1 unit, in 1 quarter of an hour, he could run 6 miles, in another quarter hour, he could run another 6 miles, which is 12 miles an hour, or 12 miles and a half an hour. Another quarter of an hour, and he could run another 6 miles, which will be 18 miles. And if we continue at this rate of 6 miles every quarter of an hour, in 1 hour, he'll be able to run 24 miles. So really a rate of 6 miles in a quarter of an hour is the same proportion as 24 miles in 1 hour. Let's solve that problem by using the big one. Here's our problem again. A cheetah can run 6 miles in a quarter of an hour. What's his unit rate? How fast can he run in an hour? Well, obviously, if it's 6 miles in a quarter of an hour, there are 4 quarters of an hour in 1 hour. So we're going to multiply a quarter of an hour by 4 to get 1 hour. Well, if every quarter of an hour is 6 miles, if we're multiplying that quarter of an hour by 4, we're going to multiply the 6 miles in a quarter of an hour by 4 also. When we do that, we're not changing the ratio. We're just changing the numbers that are used to describe that ratio. The ratio is going to look different, but it's still going to describe the same number. So 6 miles in a quarter of an hour, when we multiply by 4 over 4, is really just multiplying by 1. And when you multiply by 1, it's the identity property of multiplication. We're not actually changing the number. The numerals used to describe the number will be different, however, but it's still going to be the same proportion. 6 miles in a quarter of an hour times 4 is 1, and 6 miles times 4 is 24. So we see the rate when multiplying by the big 1 is 24 miles in 1 hour. So in this lesson, we learned how to use the double number line and the big 1 to solve rate problems.